So this is the first point of spiritual life. How can we talk about spiritual life unless we admit that we ourselves are spirit? If we are not spirit, then what is the use of anything spiritual? Because spiritual means pertaining to spirit. So if there is no such thing as spirit, if there is no spirit, then what does it mean spiritual? And if there is such a thing as spirit, what is that spirit? So no one knows this. But that spirit is a soul within the body, and we are that soul. This body is just like our outward dress. For example, at night, when you go to sleep, you take off your clothes, you put them away, you lie down in your bed and go to sleep. And you forget everything. And in the morning you wake up and you put on some new clothes and you go out again. So exactly like this. What is death? Now there's great interest in death and dying. But they're simply giving so many foolish ideas. Here's the real explanation is that death is exactly like taking off your clothes and going to sleep. This body is just like a dress. You take it off at the time of death. You go to sleep inside the womb of another mother. You come out again in a new dress, a new body. That's a fact. This is called transmigration of the soul, because we're eternal. So you have to go somewhere, because you're eternal. Just like, for example, now I'm in Miami. So a few days ago I was somewhere else, and a few days from now I'll be somewhere else. You may not see me, but I'm still existing. So just as I am moving from one city to another city, or just like you may go from one room to another room in your house, so the soul is moving from one body to another body. That's a fact. This is a fact. This is called karma, or transmigration of the soul. So a logical question should be, why is this happening to me? How did I get into this situation? Why am I going from one body to another? And the answer is very simple, common sense. Americans like common sense. So here's something which is common sense, that we are in this world and we are taking one body after another because we want to, because we desire it. Just like, why did you come here? Because you wanted to. And why are you going to leave? Because you want to. So why do you have that body? Because you wanted it. And why did we want this body? To enjoy material life. Isn't it a fact that everyone with their body is trying to enjoy? For example, if you have a woman's body, then you're trying to enjoy a man. And if you have a man's body, you're trying to enjoy a woman. And if you have a child's body, you want to play. So, based on the particular type of body we have, we want to enjoy. And that's why we got this body. So, if at the time of our death, we want to go on enjoying material life, then God is very liberal, He's very kind, He'll give you another one. Here's another body, now try again. And then at our next death, here's another body, here's another body. And we can go on trying as long as we like to enjoy this material world. But unfortunately, it's impossible. Why? Because in this life there is birth, death, old age, and disease. People are becoming so foolish that last night in the program, this radio program, I said that in this life there are so many miseries such as birth, old age, disease, and death. So immediately one so-called religious leader said, well, you can't say old age is miserable. You can't say disease is miserable. You can't say death is miserable. So at this point it was becoming so outrageous that even the announcer, this Mr. Burke, he had to cut in and say, excuse me, but actually these things are miserable. Let's not get out of hand. So it's just like you may buy a car and you can't take it back. It's already yours. So after you buy it, you find out there was a better car you could have bought, but now you have to defend it. No, actually it's a nice car. It has a lot of nice features. And or just like the parents, they may have a child. He may not be very beautiful, but they have to see him as beautiful. So in the same way, just like there's one story in Sanskrit, a nice Indian story, that one child was born blind, but the mother, because she loved her child so much, even though he was blind, she named him Padmalochana, which means lotus eyes. In other words, eyes which are as beautiful as lotus flowers, Padmalochana, even though he was blind. So because we have taken up material life as everything, therefore we're trying to defend it. No, death is actually not bad. You simply have to understand it. And disease, well, that's simply another experience. And old age, well, that's the best time of life. So in this way, people are becoming so foolish. The most simple thing they can't understand. How they're being punished. The most simple thing people can't understand. Just like, for example, there's one funny story. At least some of us think it is funny that there was one man. He was very strong. He became angry with another man who was not as strong. So he was chasing him with a stick and beating him. So the weaker man was running away. Like anything, he was running. And as he was running, he was turning around and yelling at the stronger man, "I'm not afraid of you. Why should I run from you?" So in this way, at every moment we are being beaten by this material world. We are suffering in so many ways. And we are saying, "No, I'm not suffering. Why should I give up material life?" There is no unhappiness. So this is foolishness. We are suffering in so many ways. We are never becoming happy. Our happiness is that we are suffering, and when this suffering lets up a little bit, that's happiness. For example, you're in great anxiety, or you're suffering, so you take a drink, and by taking a drink, we forget for a moment, that's happiness. Or we have so many problems, we want to go to a movie, or sex, something to take our mind off our misery. And if for a few moments we can forget how unhappy we are, that's happiness. It's not happiness. It means your misery lets up a little bit. That's happiness. And then death comes, old age. So there's not happiness. So spiritual life, that's happiness. And then death comes, old age. So there's not happiness. So spiritual life.